How's it going, team? My name is Alexa. I'm a certified personal trainer and fitness nutrition specialist here to talk about healthy eating habits for 2022. Eating healthy is important because it's like putting gas in a car. If we put bad gas in the car's not gonna run. Or if we put no gas in the car's not gonna run. So we want our car to function properly, which is why we put good fuel inside of it. So healthy eating is very similar to that. We wanna make sure that we're eating properly, we're eating enough to make sure that our bodies are able to fully function at its biggest potential.
Now, there are so many different things that you can consume, but obviously there are different choices that are gonna be better than others.
How we eat impacts how we feel, how we relate to others, how we perform, and it ultimately impacts our quality of life.
Eating a healthy diet can improve our mood, our ability to focus, our energy, our productivity. Obviously, it can extend our lifespan, but it also sets a positive example for our children and the youth to create a better world.
Some things that make up a healthy diet are eating balanced. That includes macro and micronutrients. So some examples of macronutrients are carbs, proteins, and fats. We want to make sure we get each one because they all work together to make sure that our bodies function properly. Micronutrients are little things that come from like vegetables and fruits and also help fuel our body and make sure it functions properly.
A lot of times when people think of healthy eating, they think first about the things they have to take out of their diet, when you should be thinking about all the awesome things you get to add into your diet. Okay, you get to include more fruits, more vegetables, more whole grains, more lean proteins, healthy fats, nuts, seeds, more water.
Basically, you're three different categories. You've got your healthy fats, you've got your good carbohydrates, and then you've got your protein. So a good rule of thumb that I like to do is combining all of those components at every single meal. So for example, for lunch, if you have, a breast of chicken and a sweet potato, and then a healthy fat, maybe, having avocado on there or whatnot, I would always combine those three things in each meal.
Some foods that I recommend avoiding are processed foods. So an example of this would be like if you're reading a label of a food and you can't read it, it probably has a lot of chemicals and additives in it that might not necessarily be healthy for us. So I tend to avoid foods that fall under that category.
Identifying foods to avoid can be a tricky thing to do, but typically we want to avoid those foods that just don't make us feel good. Some foods, like foods that you may have an allergy or intolerance to, can make us feel poor right away, and of course we want to avoid those. But some foods, like fast foods, it's really in the repetition of eating them that we start to not feel so good. That's where we want to take note of how we feel repeatedly after eating these foods and then make adjustments.
So one of the biggest things that I like to tell my clients of a food to avoid is sugary drinks. That is one huge thing to cut calories. Those are empty calories should you consume that. So that is one thing that I always say, sugary drinks are a no-go.
Healthy eating takes practice, just like everything else. We really love our air fryer. We can cook vegetables in there, we can cook meats and fish, and it's also quick. So a healthy meal is just one simple task away.
It's important to practice healthy eating in a couple different ways. One way is not limiting or punishing ourselves for eating something. If you ate it, that's okay. It's fine. Your body needed it or your body was craving it and it had to have it at that moment.
A lot of times when people think about eating healthy, they think just chicken and broccoli. There's so many vegetables, so many different fruits, so many different healthy food options. So trying one new healthy food item per week will help make it more sustainable, but also make healthy eating more fun.
So some ways that I like to practice healthy eating, biggest tip is meal prepping. If you meal prep, I do mine on Sundays, then you have no excuse to have those healthy meals throughout the week. You've got them all portioned out, you can grab them, the convenience of it. You don't start going hungry and then go make other options that are unhealthy. You've got that meal prepping, you've got that convenience for you.
With our eating, small changes can make a big impact. Most of us don't need a major overhaul of our diet. We just need to focus on a few things that we can change that will have a major impact on how we feel. Aim for the simplest things to adjust and go from there.
So one tip that I like to give is making sure that you are snacking throughout the day. So keeping those healthy snacks on hand, whether it be, a little package of almonds or apples with some almond butter, anything that's gonna kind of help you throughout in between your meals so that you don't get to that point of starvation where you just wanna eat things that are not healthy.
So my biggest tip for when it comes to healthy eating is to not try to change everything at once. Start with one thing. Start with one meal. Okay, so it can be dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever you feel like is a good starting point, and make that meal your anchor for the week.
So our weekly challenge is incorporating 1 serving of vegetables with each meal that you have throughout the day.
If you have an omelet for breakfast, you can throw in some zucchini and spinach. With lunch, you can add in some avocado and have some carrots on the side. For snack, you can have hummus and peppers and carrots. And then for dinner, make a nice little stir fry with some garlic and pepper all over those veggies.
Let's make it fun. Try a new vegetable, okay? Let's do this.